You woke up this morning the same way you woke up yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that. You told yourself it was fine, that this is just how life works. But somewhere in the back of your mind, behind all the noise and distraction, there is a voice you've been ignoring. It's been whispering the same thing for months now. And today, for the first time, you are going to hear what it's saying. You are not living, you are rehearsing. Rehearsing for a life you'll never actually start, the pattern you can't unsee. There is a moment that comes, usually without warning, where you catch yourself mid-motion and realize you've done this exact thing 1,000 times before. Maybe it's scrolling through your phone at 2 a.m., eyes burning, fingers moving on autopilot. Maybe it's sitting at your desk, staring at the same screen, doing work that doesn't matter to you, that never mattered to you. Or maybe it's smaller than that. Maybe it's just the way you sigh before getting out of bed. The way your body already knows what the day will feel like before it starts. And that's when it hits you. This isn't a bad day. This is the day. The one you've been living on repeat, with slight variations for longer than you want to admit. You start to notice the pattern everywhere. The conversations that loop back to the same complaints. The plans you make but never follow through on. The promises to yourself that dissolve by noon. You see it in your reflection. Something tired behind the eyes. Something that wasn't there before. Or maybe it was always there, and you just stopped looking closely enough to notice. The worst part isn't that you are stuck. The worst part is that you built the cage yourself. Brick by brick, excuse by excuse, safe choice by safe choice. You told yourself you were being responsible, practical, smart, but what you were really doing was trading time for comfort. And time, you are starting to realize, doesn't care how comfortable you were when you spent it. The weight of almost. You've become an expert at almost. Almost starting that project, almost having that conversation. Almost making the change you know you need to make. You live in a permanent state of preparation, always one step away from the thing you say you want. And you've gotten so good at this dance that you've convinced yourself it counts as progress. But it doesn't. Almost is a kind of psychological anesthetic. It lets you feel like you are moving forward while keeping you perfectly still. It protects you from failure, sure, but it also protects you from everything else. From growth, from risk, from the terrifying possibility that you might actually become someone different than who you are right now. And somewhere deep down you know this. You know that the person you are pretending to be, the one who's just waiting for the right moment, the right resources, the right feeling, that person is a story you tell yourself so you don't have to face the truth. The truth that there is no right moment, there is only this one, and you are letting it pass. You think about the things you used to want, the dreams that felt electric when you first imagined them. What happened to those? When did they become background noise? When did you start treating your own life like something that happens to you instead of something you create? The answer is slowly. So slowly you didn't notice. One compromise at a time. One I'll do it later at a time. One fear disguised as logic at a time. Until here you are, living a life that makes perfect sense on paper and no sense at all in your chest. The cost no one mentions. There is a kind of exhaustion that comes from not living the life you want. It's not the tiredness of hard work or long days. It's deeper than that. It's the exhaustion of pretending, of performing, of waking up every day and putting on the costume of someone you are not entirely sure you recognize anymore. You've been running on borrowed energy, caffeine, distraction, the occasional burst of motivation that fades by Thursday. And underneath it all, there is this growing sense that you are not tired from doing too much. You are tired from doing nothing that matters to you. People talk about burnout like it's about workload. But sometimes burnout is just the slow collapse of a life lived out of alignment. It's what happens when every day requires you to be a little less of yourself. When you spend so much energy managing everyone else's expectations that you forget you had your own. And the cruelest part, you are good at it. You've gotten so good at adapting, at making it work, at being fine, that no one around you has any idea you are disappearing. They see the version of you that shows up. The one that answers emails and meets deadlines and laughs at the right moments. They don't see the one that sits in the car for 10 minutes before going inside, trying to remember what it felt like to want something. What happens next? Here is the thing no one tells you about the morning you decide to change your life. It doesn't feel like a decision. It feels like a breaking point. It feels like waking up and realizing you can't do this anymore. Not because it's hard, but because it's easy. Because you could keep doing this forever. And that thought is more terrifying than anything else. You are standing at the edge of something, and you can feel it. Here is the life you are living, the predictable one, the safe one, the one that makes sense to everyone who knows you. And then T, here is the life you are not living, the one that scares you because you don't know how it ends, the one that would require you to disappoint people, to look foolish, to fail in ways you can't control. And you realize this is the choice, not between success and failure, but between a slow, comfortable disappearing and the possibility, just the possibility, of becoming real again. You can't go back to not knowing. You can't unsee the pattern. You can't pretend anymore that this is temporary, that things will change on their own, that one day you'll wake up and suddenly be the person you meant to be. That person doesn't exist. They never did. There is only you, right now, with everything you've done and everything you haven't, with all the time you've lost and all the time you still have. And the question isn't whether you are ready. The question is whether you are willing to stop waiting to. Because the morning you decide to change your life isn't the morning everything gets easier. It's the morning you finally admit how hard it's been to stay the same.